this video, I'm going to show you how I create unique and interesting characters using both my imagination and reference materials. So this is the first approach I might take to drawing a character. With this approach, I'm not looking at anything, I'm just going off of everything I've learned in my time in drawing. This is kind of just me drawing from my head, and this is the easiest way I draw. When I start drawing a character like this, where I have no references or anything like that, I really don't know what it's going to turn out like. I mean, I might have an idea of a basic character idea, like this guy, you know, I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll just draw a goblin. That'll be fun, I enjoy drawing that, so I'll just kind of go in that direction, but I really have no clue what he's going to look like. So to come up with something unique here, I always kind of try and draw some interesting shapes, but it's all really based on things I already know, so I'm limited to how creative I can get. Like I said, I really enjoy drawing this way, but I don't think it's the most creative way for me to draw, or I know that I'm not going to come up with something totally crazy and new, most likely. When I want to draw something really original and when I want to draw something really creative, I reference. So the previous character that I drew is based on a lot of things I've already drawn. I mean, it's the same human kind of body structure. Yeah, I exaggerate things, but nothing's really that new. With this character that I'm drawing now, I looked at a bunch of owls, I looked at some cats, some monkeys, and you know, I use all that stuff to create something and combine something together that's really, really unique, but something that I am surprised with, something that I haven't seen before, and that I'm not pulling from my own imagination that I already know how to draw. Now, once I do this once or twice or 3 times, then I'll have references in my own imagination that I can pull from for the next time. So when I do a drawing like this, I feel like I learn a lot more than the previous drawing. So to create characters like this, you do have to understand form and understand how you can combine those shapes. And I feel like that's a real talent when it comes to creating unique characters, is understanding form so that you can combine tons of different shapes and make unique kind of animals and stuff. So this third approach I take to creating a character, the first 2 characters are kind of bland. I feel like they might have emotion, but it's not as believable as if I were to reference someone's face. Now, you guys have seen some of the characters where I've referenced older people, like in my sketchbook and stuff, and I love that because they have so much character and they have so much emotion in their face, and I feel like I really get a grasp of that emotion by referencing photos of people. I feel like people really respond more to characters that are referenced from maybe actual photos or actual people, because there's a believability there. I feel like when you're being creative and you want to come up with something new and imaginative, you want to make it as believable as possible, because that's where real creativity lies, is something that could exist. It's easy to just draw a bunch of shapes and blobs and stuff like that and say it's creative, but to make something that somebody can actually believe in, that's being really creative, and that's the hardest part, I think, or that's the hardest aspect of being really creative. So if you guys watched my last video, it was about how to figure draw at home. Figure drawing helps so much when it comes to coming up with creative characters, because for one, it helps you understand how the body works, but it also shows you how to like form works, I feel like. When you can draw a human being as complex as we are, and complex as we are put together, you can pretty much draw anything. So when I do a figure drawing session, I'll remember all the poses that I did, and if there was one in particular that fits kind of an idea I have, I'll go back and reference it and use it to draw something unique. So for this next approach, you can see that I took that figure drawing pose there on the left of the girl kind of sitting on a stool, and it was a quick pose just to get the idea down, but you can see how much it helps. Normally when I draw a character, they're really stiff and they don't have a lot of life because the pose sucks. This one, I thought, wow, it'd be really cool to draw a robot kind of in that thinking man's position, and I feel like it would make a very compelling figure, really compelling creative character. And then I also thought, I feel like the eyes should be somewhat thoughtful but vacant. I mean, if you look at that character, it looks like she's thinking, but those aren't the lazy eyes that a normal person would have. So now that I've kind of shown you 3 different approaches that I might take to drawing a character, I think one of the best ways to come up with a really original character is to just use all 3 of these. Draw some shapes to start off with, draw some circles and some squares on a page, and see if you can turn that into something. That was one of the funner exercises I always did, and I still do it. There's been a couple, there's like that Moonhead guy, I don't know if you remember seeing that in my last sketchbook, but a lot of people really liked him, and all I did was draw some circles and then decided to put a face on it and really kind of manipulate the shapes, and it turned into an awesome, weird creature. So I would say the best thing to do if you want to learn how to draw very creative characters is you need to reference everything you possibly can. You need to reference animal pictures, animal books. You need to reference photos of people and interesting people, not just pretty people. Reference old people, reference different races, all kinds of things like that. And sometimes you're going to have to just sit there and draw a picture of somebody without getting all creative with it. And it's later on that you start pulling all these things that you've learned into making very interesting characters. So that's the video. I hope you guys liked it, and if you haven't already, subscribe.